Battle of Spotsylvania, fought during the Overland campaign, was the third bloodiest battle of the American Civil War. The battle also showed the grim reality that this was a modern war. After the horrifically bloody Battle of the Wilderness in early May of 1864, Ulysses S. Grant moves the Union Army of the Potomac southeast in an attempt to outmaneuver the Confederate Army of Northern Virginia under General Robert E. Lee. However, Lee anticipates Grant's move, and thus is able to intercept the Union Army just north of a crossroads town named Spotsylvania Court House. The fighting starts on May 8th between cavalry and grows as infantry from both sides arrive and engage. Eventually, the Confederate Army forms a defensive line which the Union troops are unable to break, though they attack repeatedly. On May 9th, the Confederate Army erects an impressive line of earthworks, which Grant is reluctant to attack. Thus, he spends the day probing Lee's flanks. During this time, General John Sedgwick, commander of the Union 6th Corps, is shot and killed by a Confederate sniper. On May 10th, Grant believes he can break through a portion of the Confederate line at a place called Laurel Hill.
Jack!
However, when Warren's 5th Corps attacks, they are driven back with heavy casualties. On the Confederate left, Hancock's attempted flank maneuver is also driven back. All across the field, Grant's movements are thwarted by Lee's troops. That is until around 6 p.m., when 12 regiments under Colonel Emory Upton attack the Confederate line using a new formation, in which the regiments attack vertically with one behind the other versus attacking horizontally like troops had previously done. With this strategy, Upton is able to punch a hole through the Confederate line at a place named the Mule Shoe. However, without support, Upton is forced to fall back. Even so, Upton has provided Grant with a way to break through Lee's line. May 10th saw little fighting, but during the day, Grant positioned Winfield Scott Hancock's 2nd Corps in the center of the line. These are the troops with which he planned to attack the Confederate muleshoe in the style which Upton had introduced. At 4:35 a.m. on May 12th, the Union 2nd Corps moves forward through a thick mist and attacks the Confederate muleshoe. The Union troops completely overrun the salient, capturing thousands of prisoners in the process. However, the Union forces in the muleshoe soon become too numerous for their own good, and soon coordination is lost, leading to a lack of pressure. The Confederates quickly take advantage of this and launch many savage counterattacks, which slowly begin to drive the Union troops back. The Northern men fall back until they reach the initial Confederate earthworks. There, they defend against repeated Confederate attacks. Before long, both sides are engaged in close-quarter combat along the line of earthworks. With both sides sending in reinforcements, the fighting intensifies, and the coming of rain only adds to the misery. The place of the most intense fighting soon becomes known as the Bloody Angle. Fighting continues until after midnight, and at 4 a.m. on May 13th, the Confederates pull back to a new line at the base of the Muleshoe. Throughout the next several days, Grant attempts to shift his line slightly east. However, rain and muddy roads delay the troops. Grant then takes a break to wait for the rains to stop. When the weather finally clears on May 17th, Grant launches an attack on May 18th with more than 2 whole corps.
Reload.
The attack is a bloody disaster, serving only to increase the casualties. Having accomplished nothing, Grant decides to pull out and slip around Lee's flank. However, as he's preparing to move out, he is attacked by Confederates under General Richard S. Ewell.
Fire. Okay.
After fighting off this attack, he begins his march southeast on the 20th. With close to 60,000 casualties in the campaign thus far, both sides have suffered terribly. However, the North could replace the fallen with fresh troops, whereas the South could not. As both sides move away from Spotsylvania, they leave behind the carnage of a new type of warfare, one in which soldiers with rifled weapons fire from behind elaborate trench systems. This type of warfare would characterize the next several months of fighting. For the Battle of Spotsylvania, the casualties were dead, Union about 2,700, Confederate about 1,500, wounded, captured, and missing, Union about 15,700, Confederate about 11,200. Total, Union about 18,400, Confederate about 12,700.